do cry, and that we're going right off subject here, I know, but and you bring that to the football world, and yeah, you just have to be careful. So I think the Spanish chap, a little bit of sympathy for him, but he was over the top. So yeah, you said what happens if it was a female to a male? That would be a very interesting scenario, wouldn't it?
What?
If that happened the other way around, if a woman coach did kiss, again, I suppose it's like the Spanish thing. It depends. It would depend on the degree
Yeah,
of the kiss. I mean, he sort of grabbed her head, didn't he, and sort
yeah,
of
I did.
pushed himself in and gave her he plonked one on her lips, I think, which was
Yeah,
clearly over the top. If he'd
yeah,
just, I don't know, a bit of a hug and a kiss on the side of the head, I don't
yeah.
think he would have got into such trouble. But
Mm.
very interesting point to make. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It just brings up the question of, how far can players and referee and the managers go? I've seen players call the goal, and they go onto the manager, and they just jump on the manager
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the legs actually off the ground, wrapped around the manager.
Mm,
Now,
mm.
in a female setting, that would be allowed within a female and a female. Would it be allowed within a male and a female? I mean, who makes the rules? I don't know. I'm just thinking here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I suppose a lot would depend on because obviously in the course of the week when the players are training, and of course there are women involved in the coaching and the fitness and the nutrition in most clubs, I expect. So there is. I noticed when at Palace, because we're quite close to the front, when they're all walking out and the teams are coming out, there's a couple of the physio girls who are walking along with one or two of the players who are on the bench, things like
yeah,
that. So they're very involved. And I suppose what we don't see is what
yeah,
happens during the week. If there's they must all develop a closeness and,
yeah,
the hug, whatever. So if that happened and we saw it on television, again,
yeah,
might look a bit unlikely,
yeah.
but it may be what they're used to. And as I say,
Yeah.
it depends on the degree of it, doesn't it? If it's a bit
It
too
does.
intimate, I think
Yeah,
you're asking for trouble.
yeah. Well, let's hope we get that right in time. But anyway,
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
yeah, I was just thinking about this girl, Lucy Bronze. She is a spectacular player, isn't she? I
Good.
mean, she the way that she plays
Mm.
it is in my opinion, and I know we could be bashed for this, or I could be bashed for this, but in my opinion, I see her playing like a man. I'm not saying it in a derogatory way. I'm saying it in a nice way, in the nicest way possible.
Mm.
She's got the agility and the stamina and the movement that you would see in a men's football,
Mm.
and I think she was really pivotal to the way that the game went. On was that Saturday last week? I think it was Sunday last week. Anyway,
I was
but
on
anyway, was it Thursday?
Friday, I think, wasn't it?
Was it Friday? Yeah, I think it was
I
Friday.
think
Yeah,
so. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah. So we do have some really good players. There's quite a few of them, other ones as well. So I was watching match of the day on Saturday. Is it Saturday or
Yeah.
Sunday? But anyway, I watched both. Now I can't remember which day I watched this, but Liverpool lost,
Yeah.
and
That
I was
was
up.
yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah.
Was it yes?
Was
Oh
it
yeah, it was
yesterday?
yes. It was
Yeah.
yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. It
I
was.
was so happy. I was really happy. I was like, finally, they're losing because they looked invincible. They looked like Manchester
Mm.
City when Manchester City was on its on its best form when
Mm.
when everything was working well for Pep, and that's the way that Liverpool looked. But then I saw a vulnerability yesterday where is it Fulham they played, wasn't it? Is it Fulham they played? They played
Fulham.
Fulham.
Yeah. At Fulham. It was at Fulham, yeah.
It was at Fulham, yeah. And actually, they scored first. I was disappointed. I was watching it, and they scored first. Like, yeah, typical Liverpool. They're gonna win this. And then when Fulham scored 3 goals in 13 minutes, I was like, yes, this is it. What do you think? What do you think? Because we were saying about a downturn for, Arne Slot. Next, we're actually talking about it for next season. Do you think it's happening this season already?
Maybe not that, but I think not just yesterday, but I think I've detected that there's been a bit of a slump in form. I mean, they're out of the Champions League, aren't they? They just don't seem to have played as well lately. They've had 1 or 2 draws as well. So I think there's been a slight falling away of their invincibility, their confidence. And I wonder if it was, if it's to do with being complacent. Because let's face it, although they lost, they're going to win the league. It would take a momentous loss of form for them to not win the league this year. And I just think that coupled with the fact that probably 3 or 4 of them know they're going to leave at the end of the season, and we think it'll be Salah or Trent Alexander-Arnold's going to Real Madrid, isn't he? Salah may go to Saudi Arabia, I suspect. Van Dijk, they tend to think is going because they think Gueye from Palace may well take his place, perhaps. So when you've got that nucleus of the team there, I'm not saying they would consciously not put the effort in, but there may be something, knowing that they are either going to go in the shop window and they want a club that they'd like to go to, or just they don't want to get injured for whatever reason. Now that they've effectively won the league, you can see why the mentality could change quite easily. Because again, when you think Fulham, I think lost in the week, but we beat them. Palace beat them last Saturday week, 3-0. So they made up for those 3 goals by scoring 3 this week. So they've not been doing so well. So for Liverpool to go there and lose that suggests to me that there's been a lowering of kind of confidence. It's a bit complacent, but of course we don't know. The beauty of football is that these results, these odd results, do happen sometimes. But yeah, it was still a shock. But I think, I still think Slot could have a bit of a bump.